Hey, welcome to Math. Mr. Jorgens here again. This is our last one of the week, 4.2, part 2. We're going to finish up what we started with point slope form yesterday, so make sure you're paying attention. And we're going to do a couple problems here. Hope you guys are having a good week. So for today, we have two formulas that we're going to need to recall or remember. Remember the word recall means to remember something from the past. And the first formula we're going to need to remember is our slope formula. So if we're ever given 2 points, the way that we can find the slope is by using the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's one of the key things that we're going to need to remember for today. And the other piece of information or formula we're going to need to remember for today is point slope form of an equation. And all of the lines we're going to write are going to be in point slope form. And point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And again, the numbers that we're going to plug in are for y1, m, and x1. x1, y1 are the coordinates of our point that's given. So if they give you the point 2, 5, 2 would be x1, 5 would be y1. And then last time we were given a slope. The difference today is we're going to have to find the slope first using our slope formula, plug it in for m, and then use one of those points as our x1, y1. All right, let's take a look at a review example here. We're going to find the slope between the points -1, 2 and 2, -10. Again, to do that, I'm going to use the slope formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's a 2 there. And remember, we can kind of label the points setting them up, x1, y1, because it's x and y of point 1, and x2, y2, again, x and y of point 2. So knowing those things, we got the 4 numbers. We need to plug them in the formula and solve for slope just like we've been doing. Go ahead and try that out and enter your answer when you're ready. So hopefully you're able to pick out -4 as your slope on this one. Again, in the top, -10 minus 2 makes a -12. In the bottom, it was a little tricky. We had 2 minus a -1. Remember, minus and negative is going to make a plus, so 2 plus 1 makes 3. And then -12 divided by 3 makes a -4. So the slope on this one would be -4. On each problem today, we're going to have 3 examples. On each one, we're going to have to find the slope between the 2 points first, just like we did in the review example. And then we'll use that slope along with one of the points to plug into point slope form for our equation of the line. All right, it's time to try our first example for today, a new example. We're going to write the equation in point slope form of a line that goes through the points 1, -2 and 3, 12. In order to do that, I know that I'm going to want to write my equation as y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The problem is I don't have a slope. So since I don't have a slope, I'm going to have to start out by finding my slope. And again, to find my slope, I'm going to be able to use m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So kind of labeling my points here, I'd have x1 and y1, x and y of point 1, and I'd have x2 and y2. So again, we should be kind of experts at finding slope here. Go ahead and find the slope of this line and enter your answer when you're ready. So taking a look at our slope calculation here, we'd have 12 minus a -2. And again, minus a negative, a double negative makes a plus, so 12 plus 2 makes 14. And then at the bottom, 3 subtract 1 makes 2. 14 divided by 2 makes 7, so I know my slope here for my formula is going to be 7. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that into my formula there. So I know my m is 7, and I also know my x1 and my y1. x1 is 1. And y1 is -2. And I could have used the other point, but we already have it set up. So again, x1 and y1 are coming directly from there, right? So -2 for my y1. Just to make sure we're clear, that's a negative there. And +1 for x1. And again, I'm going to go ahead and plug that in for my point there. And again, y and x are the variables. So we'd have y minus y1, so y minus -2 equals 7, my slope, times x minus 1. If I have any double negatives, I have to change it to a plus, which I do there. So y minus -2 is the same as y plus 2 in the simplified form equals 7 times x minus 1. So if I'm writing my equation in point slope form that passes through those 2 points, it would be y plus 2 equals 7 times x minus 1. All right, let's take a look at example 2 here. We're going to write an equation in point slope form of a line that passes through the points negative 2, 4 and 0, 3. So again, just setting things up. I know point slope form of a line. That's always the first thing I'm going to write down. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And long term, that is a formula that you should know. So if you can dedicate that somewhere into your memory bank, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, that's a form of an equation of a line. It's called point slope form, and it's important for us to know that formula. Now, the issue is I don't have my m here, and I don't know what the slope is. So the first thing I have to do in all these problems is find the slope. And the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Hopefully that's another formula that you have in your memory bank there somewhere. So if I go ahead and set up my labels here, I know I have x1, I have y1, I have x2, I have y2. So go ahead and plug in the numbers to the formula there, subtract, subtract, and divide. When you can find your slope, enter that as your answer. So taking a look at our slope here, 3 minus 4 in the top makes a negative 1. 0 minus negative 2 in the bottom, minus a negative is a plus, so 0 plus 2 makes 2. So I get a fraction, negative 1 over 2, which doesn't divide and doesn't simplify. So I'm left with my slope as the fraction negative 1/2. So again, if that's my slope, I'm going to go ahead and plug that in there for my m value here, because that's one of the pieces of information that I need to know. So I have y minus my y1. So I'm going to pick the point negative 2, 4. So my y1 value would then be 4 equals m times x minus x1. What is my x1 value here? So if I'm using the point negative 2, 4, what would be my x1 value? Enter your answer when you're ready. Good, it would be negative 2, right? So I'm going to plug negative 2 in for my x1 value there. The only thing I have left to settle, if I have any double negatives, which I do here, negative 2, so x minus a negative 2 makes an x plus 2. So I can write this as y minus 4 equals negative 1/2 times x plus 2. And that would be my formula in point slope form, y minus 4 equals negative 1/2 times x plus 2. All right, let's take a look at this one. We're going to write the equation of a line in point slope form. And again, point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I want to be able to write an equation through those 2 points. I know the first thing I'm going to have to do is find the slope. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then eventually I'm going to say m is equal to something, x1 is equal to something, and y1 is equal to something. So let's say I'm using this as my x1 and y1. So given that fact, I want you to go ahead and write the equation of a line in point slope form through those 2 points. Enter your answer when you're ready. So taking a look at this one, I can find the slope. 13 minus 5 is 8, 4 minus 2 is 2, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my slope is 4. And then my x1 is 2, my y1 is 5, just taking it straight from the point. So if I go ahead and plug things in, that would be a y minus 5 is equal to m, which is 4, times x minus my x1 value is 2. And that would be my point slope form for the equation of the line here, y minus 5 equals 4 times x minus 2. Hopefully you have a good sense of how to use point slope form now. You should be ready to try big ideas problems on section 4.2 now.